Hey guys, in this video, we will be going over how to use Power Automate to creating a document when a list has been entered on Microsoft List. And I guess in the same way, you can use the same flow if an item on Microsoft List has been modified. Okay, so I hope the screen demonstration will be clear and good enough for you. By all means, stop or pause the video, rewind, or whatever you have to do to understand. So in front of you is a list that I had created on Sharepoint. It's a Microsoft list that I created, and it's just an example. But so this list is just an example I want to use for, like, for example, an inventory list. It's used to capture the title of that inventory and who created that inventory. Of course, you can have more sections or more columns. You can add more columns, and the principle would still apply. And as a matter of fact, I'll show you just an example of an inventory label that you can use, or that I actually use as an example. Okay, so in order to make a document, I suggest the very first step you should do is what we're gonna do is we're gonna convert an HTML file into a PDF document. So what do we have to do? We have to create that HTML file at first. So I've already created that file. I'm going to go to my documents, and you'll see here that the document that I created is a demonstration inventory label. According to HTML, it's supposed to look something like this. This is just the HTML format that I'm using. I use a lot of tables to organize each section. And basically I formatted how I want to format it. So this is how the HTML file would look when published, or if I ever publish it. But the actual HTML source is this notepad file here. And I'm sorry, I'm assuming that you can learn some HTML from online, or you have some HTML experience. So given that you know HTML, then we can proceed. However, if you don't know HTML, I suggest maybe going to take a quick online course just to figure out how to use HTML. So in my HTML source here, you'll see that it's actually a table, and I have it set it so where this is the name of the section, and you see this little portion right here where it says ID and in quotation in brackets. So this is actually going to be used for the variable. Same thing here for the owner, but instead of owner, you will see in the list is like created by. And then I think the other one we'll change in this demonstration today is the title. Okay, so we're going to change. We're going to assume that when someone enters a new list item, the ID is a variable, the owner or created by is a variable, and the title is going to be considered a variable. And once again, that information comes from the list that's going to be generated whenever someone enters a new entry. And where's that information going to go? We want that information to go like here for the number. We want the created by to go here, and we want the title to go here. I'm sure you see other information on the sheet here, details, active, weight. This is just an example, but once you understand how to enter these variables in, then you could know what to do for the other variables that you want to choose to do. Okay, so once again, the first step is to creating that source that you want. Okay, next step is once you have it created, now you want to dump it in the SharePoint folder of your choice. I've chosen to dump it here in this documents folder, so that's where it's going to be for me. You're going to see why that's going to be important in this step. So here we go. So from the list itself, we want to go to integrate, and we want to go to Power Automate, and we want to go as create a flow. Okay, and then we're going to look for something that says when an item is created. We can choose when an item is modified too, but that's assuming that information is already in the table and someone's modified it. But today's is just going to be what happens when an item is created. So I think it's down here somewhere. We're going to choose when a new item is added in SharePoint, complete custom. Okay. It's loading. So we're gonna go to continue, and there should be a continue button. So at the time of this video, I think they had changed some format. I'm more comfortable to switching to doing it in classical designer, but it's the same method. Okay, same method of approach. So here we go. When a new item is created, now in this one we want to choose the site address. We want to choose the list name. Okay, so we're going to look for the site address. We're going to do the list name. It's going to be test list. Okay, so then we're going to hit next step. So our next step now is we want to get item. Be careful it's not get items, but get item. Okay, and we wanted to get item from the SharePoint, and of course we want to fill out this information: the site address, the list name again, and let's see here. And what we wanted to get is the ID of that item. Okay, so now the next block we want to put is we want to put get file content. Okay, so you want to get file content. We want to be from the SharePoint one, and this file now goes back to the file that was created here. I might tell you want to make sure that you have this first. Now that we have it saved there, now we want to go and locate that file. Administration. So once we've selected our site address, now we're going to select the filer ID, and now we're going to look for the folder. And so for me, that folder is stored in share document. So for me, it's in the share documents, and the file is the .html extension. Okay, not the .text, but the .html extension. Okay, so now once we get the file, the next thing that I recommend is what we do is we want to convert our variables to a string. So there's a function. So we're going to choose compose data orientation, and then we're going to click in this little box here, and we're going to look for an expression. We can look for the expression called string and then the value. So now it's actually, so it's here. The order is going to follow. It's going to follow a string, and then in these brackets here, it wants you to. I was asking, okay, what value do we want to convert to a string? Okay, so remember the three IDs that the three things that we have is the ID, the title, and then the created by or the owner. Okay, so the first one we're going to look for. So I want to draw your attention that this section is divided into two sections: get item, where you have the variables, and if you scroll down to the other section, it's when a new item is created. You want to be careful to choose variables under the when the new item is created, and you want to look for the list item. Okay, and then you want to hit OK. Okay, and then it's always good practice to rename each header so you can just be better organized. So this one is where we're converting ID to string. Okay, and so what we do now is we do a new step, and we do this 2 more times where we convert the title and the created by. So we hit compose again, and then we hit look for the expression again. And if you know the expression, you can just simply start typing string and then quotation again. Okay, but in the event that I make a typo mistake, I always like to look for the expression, and then you enter in the value. You notice for the value, I'm actually going to dynamic content. So this is the variable part now where you can choose the variable that you would like to convert to a string. So that was title, correct? Yes, it was title. Okay, I'm going to convert that title to string. And then we rename it. We're going to rename it. And then finally, what we're going to convert is we're going to convert the owner. Let me show you something interesting here. There's something called copy to my clipboard too, where if you copy it, and if you go to new step, you can actually go to my clipboard and choose what was copied. That's another shortcut to adding in another similar column here. This one we're going to be converting. Let's rename it first. So we're converting the owner. So this is just another way of doing it. Okay, owner the string. And then when we open it, we see that the function is already there. Of course, we have to make sure and delete everything. So I always like to go. The route where I manually find it, to avoid any kinds of mistakes. So now I'm looking for the owner under the when a new item is created. Make sure that it's in the correct section. I think I may have passed it. So made a mistake. Let's choose it again. String, open quotation, and then what we want is it's actually created by. I think it's created by display name. Let's go with that one. Okay. Update. Okay, so now that we've converted all the variables to string, and remember, you could have more columns. The idea is whatever columns that you have, columns title that you have, make sure you convert it to string first. Okay, so once you convert it to string now you need to input that variable into the document, and going back to the document again. Remember the document I showed you here? Now, whenever a new item is created, we're going to take that ID number and we're going to dump it here. Okay, we're going to take that created by, dump it there. The same with the title. Okay, so how do we tell it now to do that? So what we're going to do is we're going to go to new again, and we're going to hit compose. Okay, hit compose, and we're gonna choose something called replace. Okay, so once you've chosen replace, So how this replace function works out, let's go and find the function if we can. Oh, let's type it again. Maybe we can find like that. Anyway, how it's going to work is we have to first enter the file content. So the file content is what was saved here, okay? So what we want is we say now we want to get the file content. To show you where we are, we're going to hit it, comma, open quotation. Now this is what I want you to see. Replace the text, which is a string, the old text, which is a string, and then a new text, which is a string. Okay, there's three components. So the first component we got out of the way. Now this is our second component here, where, oh, I don't know what happened. I guess we have to do it again. Input is required. Let's do it again. Type replace, and then we're going to look for the file content. Okay. After we enter in the file content, we're going to do comma, and then we're going to do here, and then the first one was actually the ID, correct? So we're going to look at this document here, and whatever this is what we're going to enter there. So it's the ID, okay, close quotes, and then comma. And now we have to specify, okay, what do we want to replace it with? We want to replace it with the string value that we created for ID. So we want to look in dynamic content, and we want to look for convert ID to string, this output here. Okay, and then we want to make sure that we have a closing bracket. Okay, and then we hit OK. Okay, we're going to do that 2 more times. Now, after you did it the first time, watch what happens the second time you do it now. So we're going to hit New Step. We're going to hit Compose. We're going to go type Compose here. Compose. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to type in the expression, we're going to type replace. We're going to look for the dynamic content. Now, remember the first time we did it, we actually looked for the file content. Now what we want is, let's go back one step. Let's go back one step before we proceed. We actually want to rename this. So let's rename this inputs ID in template document. Okay. So inputs ID. Now here, what we're going to do is we're going to input the title in template document. So at this point in the program here, the template document is no longer what's in the file content here, but the template document now has the variable, whatever variable ID in it. So now what we want to replace, the document we want to replace or add the title variable in, is actually here. So what do? We're going to hit replace, open bracket, and then now we're going to look for the string. It's actually from inputs ID, the outputs from inputs ID in template document. Okay, we're going to do comma, one open quote, and we wanted to replace the owner, I believe it was. Let's verify. Yep, owner, whatever this is what we want to enter there now. So we could copy there, or we could manually type it. OWNER, close quote, brackets. Okay, and what do we want to replace it with? We want to replace the owner with the outputs from here, convert owner to string. So we're going to look for that, convert owner to string output, which is that. And then we hit OK. Okay. So we just input the title into the template document, which was an output from here. Now we're going to do the same thing one more time for the title. Okay. So we're going to hit new step. We're going to hit compose data orientation. We're going to hit replace. And the first thing we want to replace is the output from inputs title and template document, which is here, inputs title and template document. And the most recent, you notice the most recent one is always to the top. Okay. So scroll to the end, put a comma, one quote, and then the brackets is brackets title. Why? Because in a template document, this is what the variable is. So wherever that is where we want it to replace. And finally, what do we want to replace it with? We want to replace it with the output from convert title to string. Convert title to string output. And then I'm going to hit OK. Okay, let's rename this. And we're going to do inputs title and template document. Ooh. So I actually made a mistake. I don't know if you guys caught it, but here is actually the owner. We want to input owner in template document. Okay, if we want to do it step by step. And this is why it's so important to creating headings so you can stay organized. Okay, so let's go back and verify this is okay. So this one is the owner. And then for me, it's more easy if I just recreated. The expression brand new. So this step, I want to first take this document that's created, the output that's created here, and a dynamic content. So inputs ID in template document, which is this one here, the output there. Okay, go to the end. Owner. Okay. And then we want to replace it with convert owner to string. Okay. That's what this should be here. And then now for this one, we needed to replace. Let's just create a fresh one. Let's create a new. Let's just delete it and recreate another one, so we know there's no foul play there. So what we're looking for now is the output from here. Inputs out owner in template document. Okay. And comma. And we want this to be the title. And then we want a title from the string. Convert a title from a string. Maybe I did that backward, but it shouldn't matter. Converts title to string. Converts title to string. Output. Okay, so we convert in title to string output. Okay, and that's how we entered in the variables for the three columns that we want. Okay, once we do that now, the next thing you want to do now is we want to create that file. So we're going to hit type create file, go to new step, and we want to create file from the OneDrive for Business. Okay, so the folder part, so you get to choose now what folder path you would want that file to be created. So So if you have a OneDrive, then this would be a great time of creating or creating a path where you would want that file to be created. So here now, I can choose whatever I want that file name to be. So if you're looking for a file name to use, maybe you could choose. So maybe you could choose something like get item, or not get item, but new item. When a new item is created, we want the file name to be. You can maybe choose the title or maybe the ID of it. ID, and then, or let's do ID and then create it by display name. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be ID dash display name. It's totally up to you. And then the file content now, file content now would be the output of the inputs title and template document. So it would be this output there. Okay, so this file name, you can choose a name of whatever you want to. So whatever variable is chosen for the ID here, or versus who created it, and then the file content would be like the last output that was converted in this stage here. So you're gonna hit new step, and then we're gonna look for convert file. So we just created a file. Now we want to convert it. Convert file preview. Once we now go to convert file preview, we're going to look for the file, the unique identifier of the file, which is the ID, and we want that target type, like I mentioned before. We want it to be in PDF. Okay. So once I have converted a file, now I create another one. I create another one and create file. It's going to be the second one, create file for OneDrive Business. Once I create that now I'm going to choose the path where I want it to be saved. And this is the location now, maybe of OneDrive file where you want that a file to be saved. And it should match, I think it should match, or it probably would make a lot of sense if it matched the same destiny or folder path as you created there. So let's create it one more time. It's actually so it actually matches it, the same one. And in the same way how you created a file name here, I would probably match it, for it to be the same thing. However, it's totally up to you what you would like for the file name to be. So I'm going to create it as ID dash, and I believe it was created by ID dash created by display name. And the file content now is going to be it should be this one here, the content of the file. Okay, so once you now create the file, once you've now created that file, now the next thing to do is to get file content, because now what we want to do is, once you get it, now let's do something like set up an email or email it to yourself. So we're going to look for that file, and it should be this here, the unique identifier of the file that we just created, which is the ID. And once you've done that now, the last step of the whole process should be in terms of sending an email. So we're going to hit send an email, and this particular application here, send an email V2. And this is considering that you're in Sharepoint and you have something set up. So you can choose who you want it to be sent to. For example, makes a lot of sense if you probably sent it to whoever created the record. Like in my particular example, I would want to send it to whoever made the entry. Or like I said, you can if there's someone specific that you want to send it to, this would be the place to send it to. So I would be create whoever we created the record, and now their email should be registered in there. Um, feel free to enter in additional emails that Randy at whatever at Hotmail. But you get the point. Whatever email you wanted to send to, this would be the place, and then you can determine a subject. You can be like inventory label created or something. Whatever you choose to send as a subject. You can even include um, the variable that was created, the title that was created. Um, your title that was created, whatever. And in the body, you can type here whatever you want to in the body. This is a test. This is a test. Okay, and so that is pretty much the structure of the Power Automate that we have, and it's always customary that once you have it, you save it. So let's name it here. When an item is created in SharePoint, send an email. Okay, and we want to save it, and then after we save it, the smart thing to do is you always want to test it. So we're going to go back to the document list, and we're just going to create an item. Okay, so the title, test item, and then so in this instance, it's created by. Here, you notice that there's no entry for created by an ID. That's because these are like automatic field that SharePoint knows that this is something that will be generated automatically, and created by is going to be generated automatically because you're already an account that they know who's making an entry. But if you do add additional columns, it'll show up here that you can just enter the items. So for the title, we're going to be like test title for inventory label. And if all goes well, then you're going to see the ID number here. You should see my name there and the title there. We're going to go save. I'm going to go to the folder. This is where you would see the label created if there was no issue. So you see the document is created. So something went wrong. Let's diagnose what may have gone wrong and actually test it out again. So I'm gonna hit test, and then I'm gonna choose with the recent trigger. Okay, so it failed. So let's figure out why it failed. Shall we? So we're gonna go back here. We're gonna go back here and see where it failed. Failed here. So there's some issues here with the file converted. So everything so far is okay. Converting to title string and creating a file. It's just this portion here. So let's figure out why it failed. Conversion of this file to PDF is not supported. Okay. Okay. So maybe there's some ties here. Conversion ID, outputs, title and template. Okay, so I think the issue is actually here. You're supposed to enter .html. Okay, so whatever file name you have, make sure it's an HTML document, and that's the reason why. It's the reason why we didn't see it yet. This is supposed to be an HTML file. So the idea is we wanted to convert, create the file to an HTML first, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, so we're gonna save this again, and we're gonna test it again. Okay, and if everything works out well, then we should see two files here, two files with the .html extension, and then the Automate will take that file and convert it to a PDF. Okay, and we say with the recent one, let's rerun that, retest that one, just to make sure there's no issue. Okay, no issue, no issue, no issue. Okay, so it ran successfully. Let's check the folder, see it creates a folder there, and I got an email. So the email went through. Oh, I think I forgot. I think what I forgot to do in the email section of it was to attach the file. So let's go back to the email. There's a portion of it where you could actually attach the file. So attachment content. Okay, so attachment name. You can go back here. Name of the file or folder, and file content. Okay, let's go back and test it out. See what happens. Okay, let's see what happens here. So the flow ran successfully. Let's see if it'll update the file and actually send me an email. So the email works. The issue now is I am not getting the PDF file. So the question is why is it not creating the PDF version? So let's figure this out. Okay. So it could be maybe this one here. So we want the file name, we want the file content. Maybe that was our issue. Let's check. There it is. That was the issue. Okay, just waiting for the email to show you to come. So you see in the email, that's the PDF version. And when we open it, we just want those three things to be different. So you see one here, this owner here, and title. So if you remember, this owner should show the actual created by. So maybe there's something I have to tweak there for that. If you have time, I'd like to maybe fix this real quick. But you see that the numbers shows up, and the whatever we had there for the test title for the inventory label. Okay, so if you have some time, let's just verify what we have for string again. Okay, so maybe it has to do with this section here. Convert owner, not the string, but maybe inputs owner and template. So converts owner to string. Let's see what we have here. Oh, that's the issue. It has to be two brackets, two similar brackets. Okay, did you see that? Before I had that when it should have been that. Okay, let's try again. It should work now. Okay, open it just to verify it fixed the issue. Okay, so I guess SharePoint it doesn't like this version, so let's go back to create. I think I know exactly. So the part where we convert owner, we should have kept it at display name. So pretty confident that this one will work. Okay, so what do we want there? We want created by display name. Update. Oh boy. String value, and we want created by display name. Make sure it's under the new item section. Okay, pretty sure with this one it's gonna work. Okay, so open it. Fingers crossed it fixed the issue. Should be this here. There you go. Okay, so the three variables that we want are actually in the document. And keep in mind, you can use the same process by these other variables, just like I was alluding to earlier. So everything works. Where create a new item, get the item, put the file content in there, convert all of the variables to string, and then you input those strings that you converted into the template document. And then the create file section is pretty sensitive, but just as long as you follow through, you should make sense of it. The one thing I would caution you is the section here where we convert the file to HTML. You create the file and then you convert it to a PDF, and then you create that PDF, put it, dump it into your folder path. This file name should be the file name that you found in the convert file section, and the file content should be the file that you found in the convert file section. And then you saw that where the email work, and you can add an attachment here. So that's it, guys. I hope you found it useful. We had some problems, but you saw we were able to work through those problems. Thanks, guys.